I don't think he's in it for the money. I think he's sincere. He likes to fix things. Yeah, Twitter, I'm going to fix that. That's f***ed up. What else is f***ed up? U.S. government, I'm going to fix it. I think that's what gets his juices flowing.
The caveat to that is he's actually behaving in a way that is reckless and unethical and identifiable people over massively, and he doesn't care. The guy is snorting ketamine and on Twitter all day long.
Okay, Sam Harris was on Bill Maher's podcast. This should be fun.
Now, I'm lucky. I've had a very generous employer for a long time. So, and you're lucky because, you know, you don't have sponsors. You talk about it all the time at the beginning of your show. I do this. I'm asking, you know, for money to do this because it gives me the freedom. And you're right. You are beholden to nobody. And that's a rare thing these days in broadcasting, beholden to nobody.
No, I mean, I felt it. I mean, this may sound like a invidious thing to say.
You're always beholden to someone. So in the case of creators, you're kind of beholden to your audience to one extent, you know, like something that crosses the minds of probably every creator is, you know, is the thing I'm about to say going to alienate a sufficient percentage of my audience that it would actually like really materially harm me? So, you know, I think it's possible to be more kind of independent and in how you choose to use your voice, but I feel like everybody's got a boss, like everybody.
Say about did you see my debate with Ben Shapiro?
Not me though. I'm over here like Aquaman is a B+ film. Amber Heard did nothing wrong. SBMM suck, or SBMM doesn't not only suck, but it's actually good. On for Barry on honestly.
I did not.
Okay, so this is pre-election.
So
maybe
I did.
Maybe I read it. Was
there a transcript?
They might have
read
a transcript.
Yeah. Yes, I read it.
So anyway, we did a debate, but I realized, and you know, I'm sure Ben would disagree with this, but I think he would be wrong. That there was a freedom I had.
It's not that Amber Heard did nothing wrong. I'm not being serious when I say that.
Having this debate with him, and I like Ben, and it was a totally.
Don't do it. Let's not get sidetracked, please. Okay. There's certain landmines that we've discovered end up with like 3-hour distractions. Israel, Palestine, Amber Heard, Johnny Depp, Aquaman. There's a few others. Don't do it. Don't f this up. Okay.
You know, open-hearted debate. There was nothing wrong there, but I realized I was free. Like whenever he made a good point against Kamala Harris, I was free to agree with it.
Right.
It's like I got no. I mean, you know, I know that I'm beholden to no one, not even my audience on some level.
Me neither.
And it's just like
priceless.
He knows his audience is Trumpistan. He knows he can't actually say he can't wake up tomorrow morning and realize, okay, all this stuff has gone too far. Trump is a Nazi, and I don't agree. I want no part of this. His business is predicated. Tomorrow's business is predicated on him not doing that. He can't have that epiphany, and I can. It's an amazing freedom.
I'm even luckier because I can with an employer.
Right. I mean that's unusual. That's
very unusual.
Yeah.
And I you know, if I don't say it enough, I appreciate it from HBO because they don't have to be that way. Yeah. And I mean, it could end tomorrow, but I mean, they've never told me what to say, what to think, where to come down on an issue. That's rare. Yeah. So I am extremely fortunate. But
nice. When Elon buys them next week, then the regime might change. But
I think Elon and you're the one who has serious beef with Elon.
Don't inherit my problem with Elon.
Bill Maher used to have a show on, I guess it was ABC. Called Politically Incorrect. Or no, this is just ABC reporting on it. But Bill Maher's been doing political commentary. If you guys didn't know, some of you guys are probably too young to know like his origin story. But he used to have a show on Politically Correct. I'm not sure what network it was on. And he said something about 9/11, which ended up getting him fired. And then HBO picked him up and gave him real time sometime in like the late 90s no, it must have been the early 2000s, right? The timeline.
On Politically Incorrect, the show that once followed this one, he made this infamous comment less than a week after 9/11.
We have been the cowards, lobbing cruise missiles from 2,000 miles away. Absolutely. That's cowardly.
That is
staying in the airplane when it hits the building. Say what you want about it, not cowardly.
He also described 9/11 as chickens coming home to roost. Basically, he went like full Hassan, like really shortly after the attack on 9/11.
I would, if I felt that way,
He got fired, man, and then HBO picked him up. He's been on HBO for I think over 2 decades now. I remember watching Real Time with Bill Maher during the Bush era, during the George W. Bush era.
I would, because I always say what I think. I don't feel that way. I feel like he is a genius, and has done a lot. We seem to like forget about this, short list of amazing things he's done that make the world better. And I want to see.
Here's a good faith question. What is the actual evidence for Elon Musk's genius? What is that? Can I get a specific example? Because don't tell me it's because his companies have accomplished great things. We'll just look at, the SpaceX, the SpaceX development over the last 8 years. The feats of engineering that they're able to pull off is obviously stunning and amazing and unbelievably cool to witness. The recent thing that they did with landing the rocket on something that a clamps shut and catches the rocket, that is obviously incredible. Amazing, a testament to human ingenuity. But what is is there evidence that he was personally involved in those engineering efforts? That he was giving his personal feedback for how to craft these devices?
I don't think he's in it for the money.
I would agree. Yeah.
Right. I think he's sincere. He likes to fix things. And, okay, how do we have an electric car? I'm going to fix that. And then how do we get to Mars? I'm going to fix that. And how do we have the internet everywhere? I'm going to fix that. And how do we get people who are paralyzed to pick up a pen from across the room? I'm going to fix that. And, oh, yeah.
You're speaking to his goals. If you give somebody with enough money and resources that has those kinds of goals, if you give somebody the freedom to pursue those goals, then some really cool stuff can be accomplished. But what is the evidence that Elon himself is a genius? I'm open to that being the case. I'm open to him being a savant. People can be deeply flawed. People with incredible intellects can be immature and volatile and insecure and all those things. But I've just never seen someone demonstrate to me, I've never seen somebody present some kind of evidence of Elon being hands-on, instrumental in some technological development that one of his companies has accomplished. I've just never seen that. Are we talking about, is he a business genius? Is that what you mean to say? Or what is the level of his genius? What is the category of his genius?
Yeah, Twitter, I'm going to fix that. That's f***ed up. What else is f***ed up? Honey, bring in the short list of f***ed up things. Oh, yeah, U.S. government, super f***ed up. I'm going to fix it. I think that's what gets his juices flowing.
But the caveat to that is he's actually behaving in a way that is reckless and unethical and f***ing identifiable people over massively, and he doesn't care. Right? So he's a very Trumpian character.
Give me specifics on that.
Well, I mean, he'll tweet, he'll put an identifiable, civilian on blast in front of 200 million people, knowing that that's going to completely over their lives.
Like who?
The guy from the cave. The guy from the cave in Thailand. They brought in, so these kids, was it 19 kids or 13 kids? So these kids get stuck in this cave in Thailand. Was it Thailand? There's this cave that you can explore. It got flooded. They got stuck in a particular portion of the cave, and the Thai government brought in diving experts from all over the world, and brought in this guy from England or whatever, and he was there trying to do his thing. Elon, of course, starts tweeting about how I'll just make a miniature submarine, and that's how we'll get the kids out. And the guy, refuted Elon, saying this is not practical. And then when you look at there's a movie about it that Ron Howard directed, and if the cave in the movie is anything like what is actually in real life in Thailand or whatever, there's no way you're going to get a submarine through that system. It literally just would not fit. It was just when you see the cave itself, you're like, oh, this is a ridiculous idea. But Elon, from the comfort of his couch or whatever, starts tweeting about how oh, I can easily fix this or whatever. The guy says, well, that's not going to work. And then Elon decides to start calling this guy That alone is so disqualifying for somebody with a platform like his. And it's like Sam Harris said, like, he knows what kind of a platform he has. Elon Musk knows that when he tweets something, there's going to be consequence. When he tweets something denigrating or bad about somebody else, that is going to result in real world consequences for that person. And he did it anyways. He flippantly called a guy a pedophile because the guy was like, your submarine is not going to work in this cave system. That is insane.
Yoel Roth, the head of trust and safety for Twitter, who he called a pedophile based on no evidence.
I guess he's calling multiple people pedophiles. I forgot about that one.
And the guy had to like flee his house because he was getting so many death threats. And
From kids?
yeah. So I mean, but he'll do that, and he'll do that again and again, and he knows the consequences. He's not dumb. He knows you're talking to 200 million people, 1% of whom are crazy, right? He insists on playing this game. He doesn't have to do it. He's addicted to Twitter, and it's deranging his personality, and it's undermining his ethics. And he will even over a former friend who was just trying to be a friend, helping him when he was starting to use these tools.
Is he trying to attack you?
Oh yeah. I speak as one who knows. Oh yeah.
On that level?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like by sicking who on you?
Well, no, just attacking me on Twitter. I mean, it's not compared to what happened to Yoel Roth. It's not bad, but he will a Pizzagate lunatic, like literally one of the people who gave us Pizzagate. You know, I'm not going to name them because they would be happy to be named in this context, but it's a couple of guys who gave us Pizzagate. You know, you remember what
Jack Posobiec, Mike Cernovich, who else prominent was pushing that shit? I think those two were really big in the beginning in terms of promulgating Pizzagate, which was the precursor to QAnon. The Pizzagate shit was insane.
Pizzagate was.
Of course. That Hillary Clinton was running a file ring out of a pizza parlor
out of the
Washington,
basement of a
D.C.
pizza parlor that doesn't have a basement.
In their defense, the pizza was fantastic.
Right. Okay. So the people who gave us that are people who are in very good standing with Elon, who Elon will talk to them in Twitter Spaces and give them the mic and boost them and just high five them.
I think he's talking specifically about Jack Posobiec here, which he tried his very best to like scrub all references to Pizzagate after the 2016 election. But in 2016, Jack Posobiec, who is, one of the more prominent right-wing voices online, he was fully into the Pizzagate shit, fully into it.
And he knows, I've pointed out how crazy these people are to him. These people will send him a clip from my podcast or some other podcast, maybe this podcast, maybe we'll do it here, right? Making it seem like I've said the opposite of what I said in context. Like they sent him one where weird. I seem to be saying that I didn't care about the chaos at the border, whereas I have exactly Elon's view of the border, and in context you could hear that. But they'll send the opposite, and Elon will react to that. He doesn't have time to listen to the podcast, obviously, so he'll just react to the clip saying, Sam Harris is a total moron, right? Like it was something like that. But amplify this to millions of people. And I will email him and say, Elon, you're being gamed by right-wing trolls who gave us Pizzagate. This is not what I said in context, right? And he will tell me to go myself. And he knows.
But he read the email.
Oh yeah, he will respond to the email. Go yourself. He does not care if he's defaming someone in public who used to be a friend. So this is why we're no longer friends. So the guy is snorting ketamine and on Twitter all day long. I mean,
there is no defending that, and I wouldn't try.
Yeah,
but
that's not to dispute anything you said about it. I mean, he's the greatest entrepreneur of his generation. I think that's not disputable, but there's no.
In YouTube chat, you guys are referencing the interview that Taylor Lorenz did with Libs of TikTok. I just want to add like a disclaimer here. I really cannot stand Taylor Lorenz. Her Twitter account, her Blue Sky account, she is just one of the most unhinged lefties. She gives all of us a bad look. Like, I really resent her. seriously, I feel like she reflects very poorly on like the left-wing movement broadly in this country, and she's just such a like she's just one of the worst. Yeah, she's a leftist for sure. But that interview with Libs of TikTok that she did, I thought was outstanding. Like, I actually think Taylor Lorenz did a really good job of maintaining composure throughout the whole thing and just giving Libs of TikTok lady, like just giving her the rope to hang herself with, which she did so many times throughout that conversation. That conversation, I thought, made Libs of TikTok look like such a childish amateur. It was so embarrassing for her. But yeah, what is your issue with her? I'm not familiar with her. Like Taylor Lorenz, when you go, so first of all, I'm deeply suspicious of anybody who tweets like 100 times a day. Deeply suspicious. Like, I don't follow anyone who tweets 100 times a day. I used to. You know, I've had some days where I've tweeted a lot. So like, I get it. I understand what like social media addiction looks like and how it manifests, but I'm just deeply suspicious. Like, what are you doing all day to that? Like, how are you functioning in the world when you're tweeting that much? Like, what is the need? Where is this need coming from? So like, just the fact that she tweets that much alone is already a huge red flag for me. But the other thing too is like her tweets are so unhinged. Like, she advocates for basically the entire country to be under the same kind of strict COVID protocols that we were in 2020. She thinks those should still be in effect. 6 feet distancing, mandatory masks inside, like full on thinks like we never should have ended those. And it's just, and that's that. I don't know if that's what she's posting about these days still, but she's been sounding that alarm for years. And it's like, dude, nobody wants to fucking hear this. She full on, can I say the word on Twitch? SIMP. Can I say that? Is that a bad word to say on Twitch? Yeah, she's, we can just sum it all up and say she's a tanky. She's just like, yeah, she's like a full-on tanky. Looking out for those people with health issues is bad, really? That's not bad. Generally speaking, broadly speaking, if you're concerned about people with disabilities, that's not bad. Telling, like, basically screaming into the void every day about how she uses the most extreme language. Like, if I go to the store without a mask, she'll call me like a murderer or whatever. She'll tell me I don't care about disabled people. 5 years after COVID. That is way too far. Yeah, she was recently telling her followers to sign up to the new China social media app, Little Red Book, which is actual reference to Mao's Little Red Book. And then a bunch of lefties signed up for the Little Red Book app, and they found out that you can't post about queer stuff. So if you're posting like pro-trans, pro-gay stuff, pro-LGBTQ+, their posts were getting taken down. And it's like, are you not familiar with the Chinese Communist Party? Do you not understand what you're working with here? Do you not get it? Go on the Little Red Book app and tweet something bad about the Chinese Communist Party and then just hit a stopwatch. And let's just pass the time and see how long it takes before your account gets banned. Why are young people so fond of, like, young lefties so enamored with China and the Chinese Communist Party, bro? It's insane. How do we get on this topic? We're watching a Sam Harris thing here.
Reason to not to ignore the downside of his personality.
And they're surprised. Like, there are posts like, wow, I just posted a pro-trans thing and I just got banned on Little Red Book. Like, I did not see that coming. It's like, what do you mean you didn't see that coming? How did you not see that coming? Of course you got banned. Whatever.
And the way he's treating people.
But also to
it.
take advantage of the upside, I guess, is, that's the complication.
I thought the new skiing thing was Blue Sky or whatever. So Blue Sky, I feel like, I don't know, man. Blue Sky to me is, I don't know. I was fully into it like a month and a half ago. I was like, yeah, this is great, man. We're building up a new platform, blah, blah, blah. There's something about it, though, that, like, I feel like if you're on Blue Sky, you're going to get better information. So I would bet good money that somebody who signs up for Blue Sky, if you take the average Blue Sky user and then stack them up with an average Twitter user and then quiz them on current events or whatever, I guarantee you the Blue Sky people are going to be way better informed than the Twitter people. But there's something so, like... There's something I don't know if I can put it into words. There's something about Blue Sky right now that's really, it's very like self-sucky. That might be the best. You know, it's like it's like the episode of South Park when like people. I feel like there was an episode where people from San Francisco were addicted to smelling their own farts. A little bit like that, you know. Hutch doesn't like his blue sky because he won't get his unhinged drama fix. That's not it at all. That's not it. It's just there's something about it that just feels very, you know. I have to like sit down and think about it, like figure out what my specific critiques are. But yeah.
Application of human life. I mean, do we listen to R. Kelly and Michael Jackson?
Yeah, like so, like the block lists or whatever. Like I support block lists in theory, but you'll have people that will put together block lists of like everybody who follows. You know, I'll just throw out a name, Brianna Wu. Like anybody who follows Brianna Wu, they'll get. There are people that will like put them on a block list, and it's like I follow people that I loathe on across all social media accounts. Like there are some accounts that I follow. I don't like that person at all. I don't think their opinion is good or whatever, but I'm just curious to see what conversations are happening or, you know, whatever. There's all kinds of reasons why you can follow someone that you don't like. So I feel like some people are getting a little too carried away with like the block list shit on Blue Sky. They take it to a degree where I'm like, what the what is this?
Say yes, but even though we know that they did things in their private life that are very not admirable. So,
yeah well,
is that not a convincing analogy from the R. Kelly?
No, I'm not sure it's as exculpatory as Elon fans would want, but yeah.
Yes, I guess what I'm saying is sometimes you're peeing on a teenage girl, and sometimes you're figuring out.
Sometimes it's a rocket.
How to get satellites into space and recatch a rocket.